Hey everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me for a Mystery Mystic Musings reading. We are exploring the suspicious disappearance of the Kansas moms, Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelley. They've been missing since March 30th, 2024. If you want a more detailed background from me on this case, check out part 1 of the detailed energetic oracle reading, and that link will be in the description box. The video is timestamped on where the introduction is and then when the reading starts, the oracle reading. So check it out if you want more background. I'm just going to dive in for time's sake, and we're just looking for information, insights as to what may have happened, what's to come, who may be responsible, what are important clues to this case. Important clues. What may be happening or threads of what may have happened. So I'm going to show you what has jumped so far. Cell phone, so cell phone data or tracking of a cell phone is of importance. Cell phone records, like actual conversations or text messages or messages used through the Wi-Fi, like emails and such. But I'm thinking like tracking the movements of someone close to the case. So we have that. We have here cold case. I pray that won't be the case. I mean, for me, I feel like the police are hot on the trail, but perhaps maybe one of the people who could be involved, their case could take a long time to get resolved. Maybe only one person takes the fall while the other, they don't have enough evidence. I don't know. I pray that this is not the case, but the trajectory that it could be on is, if cops don't handle this carefully, this investigation can be ongoing. Maybe it's an aspect of the case that's cold. For example, like finding them, like finding the ladies. Police are suspecting foul play, so maybe it may not be that. I mean, maybe there would be justice that comes about, but an aspect of the case that could be cold is actually finding the women. But I pray that's, that is just, I don't know. This also maybe could speak to a cold case, a past cold case. I just thought of that. Like maybe a perp or someone who's involved, there's a cold case that has not been solved, like someone who may have gotten away with something else and who's close to the situation. That's a cold case now. But maybe it might be solved as a result of them having to investigate and solve this case. So it could be something like that. Okay. Then we have denial. There could be people who are denying fault, denying involvement. Some people might be presently, who's close to the situation, in denial of someone who could be culpable and responsible and liable for all of this. So denial. Maybe denials in the interrogation room, etc. This is interesting. This could be that there may come down later. We hear of someone threatening to do this to themselves, to take their life, or threats of that as the case moves on, or it could be that maybe someone purports that one of the ladies could have been on this path and caused their harm. Like, so this could be a theory that has been levied up with law enforcement from somebody who is denying involvement. Like they're providing excuses as to what may have happened. We have here jail or imprisonment. Jail or imprisonment. So this could signal somebody, or it could exonerate somebody who maybe has an alibi, jail or imprisonment, or it could signify somebody getting arrested or going to jail, or someone who has a prison record, etc. Or it could be exonerating someone because they have a solid alibi, jail or imprisonment. All right, let's keep going. I'm using my Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle. This deck here. It's available to purchase if you'd like to use it in your own readings such as this. Local. Local. Yes. Status. Okay. Weapons. Computer. Friends and associates. Missing. I hope they find them. Premeditated plans. Okay. Do a few more. House. News, media, and the press. Okay. Burial or grave. And false accusations. Okay. All right, we're going to stop here. We've got enough cards on the table. Okay. So let me show you or pick up where we left off. We have local. They could be not very far, the ladies, perhaps, or maybe there's a local connection. Now, local could be the locals know some things or have seen or witnessed some things. Maybe not have seen the crime or seen the ladies, but they know some things. They know something maybe about this cold case. Locals and friends and associates know some things. Eventually, in due time, the locals, the friends and associates will start to perhaps really start speaking to news and media, or news and media will start to find out who are key friends and associates who may be able to offer some insights as to this whole situation. This situation. Look at this. This is the status card. Now, when I designed this card, it looks like marital status, but status could be some kind of legal standing, legal status. It could be you're going from being custodial to non-custodial, you being in a relationship or in a divorce. Status, something to do with status, someone being denied something. What I do here when I'm looking at the cards is I look at them across here, you know, the rows, I look at them up and down. Okay, so I'm looking at this here, denial, status, missing as a result of this status, or being denied something, or potentially being denied something, and then burial or grave. Somebody wanting to bury the truth, or bury these ladies, or bury evidence, something of that nature. The missing could be buried. The missing could be in a shallow grave. The missing could be, or key evidence could be hidden or buried. Maybe, yeah. Okay, let's keep going. We have weapons. So in part one, I mentioned about this swoop and squat deal that I'm seeing play out. Trapping the women, preventing them from going up to the vehicle, brandishing weapons, and then subduing the women to move into another vehicle. Interestingly, and maybe from the Divine Crime Oracle, we'll see that in a moment about the ladies being transported. I mean, obviously something happened there. But maybe the local card is like they're not too far from where the vehicle is or where the main person of interest is located. We aren't privy, the news and media and press are not privy to who the main persons of interest are. We have, us the public, our suspicions who they may be, but it has not been revealed by law enforcement. Spirit is saying that friends and associates are in the know or involved. It could be friends and associates to the perp. It could be friends and associates of all involved, the victims and the perps who know something, who may eventually start talking. Okay, so we have computer, more data, more information. Police are doing a lot of their investigating by searching records that they can do on the computer. Not so much going out and maybe interviewing friends and associates and going locally, not feeling the need to have to travel very far, looking at jail and prison records with the jail or imprisonment over the computer card. Okay, I talked quite a bit about friends and associates. We touched on the missing card, the missing women we have here. We have premeditated and planned. This whole thing was orchestrated and designed, planned, premeditated. This wasn't like, the ladies, because the vehicle seemed like it was in good working order. So it wasn't like they broke down, on the side of the road, or someone may have hit them or threatened them or something, like a stranger that caused them to be missing. Perhaps it could be, but I just get a sense when I'm looking at all of the cards that have jumped so far from in parts 1 and now this part 2, it's looking like this was planned for a while. We'll explore a bit more about time frames in a moment. But yeah, premeditated and planned to make these ladies go missing. Friends and associates are going to start talking. Some key evidence in somebody's house. Could it be the victim's house, or could it be a house that has been already secretly searched for somebody who's responsible? Perhaps. Soon enough, news and media is going to be swarming a home, a house. We've talked about the burial or grave. Now let's talk about this false accusations card. And what do you think that could mean? I'm curious. Every now and then I like to pose a card to you and see what you think. False accusations. This could be someone who's involved is trying to divert attention away from them and saying that this is, they're being falsely accused of the past, because of past things that have been going on, or their past, their history. Or it could be that somebody is actually being falsely accused. Somebody who's close to the situation could be experiencing false accusations, or some aspect of their involvement is being falsely accused. Or that, maybe the dad, for example, the biological father of Veronica's kids, maybe he could be falsely accused. Maybe it's him that has a solid alibi. Or it could be maybe the grandmother is being falsely accused and there's something else going on. Or it could be somebody hollering out, I'm being falsely accused. Find the real person who's responsible. Maybe, Veronica was feeling bad about the custody thing and did something to her and Jillian, allegedly, so that kind of energy. So I'm going to pause here, take a picture as I do, and we're going to move on to the next parts of the reading. I will be back. Now we're working with the Divine Crime Oracle. All right, so we're going to just tap into the energies of what may have happened, who may be responsible. Northeast. show you all in a moment what's coming out. Let me get the cards all on the table. Okay, somebody with not a history, but someone that does have a history. July. Veronica, Jillian, tie bound up. What else do we have? No. Let's do this. I need to hold on 1 second. My screensaver came on and I wanted to see the lady's pictures, so. Okay. What else, Spirit? What else can you share about this situation? About maybe what happened, or like, we know there could be a weapon or weapons involved. It looks like somebody may have been tied or bound. Southeast. We have a couple of directions. That doesn't help. A lot of directionals coming, and that what that can mean is that there's multiple people involved. Okay. All right, so we have cave inside underground. They could be northeast or southeast, really, but this could be that one of the perps, the main perps, lives northeast of where their vehicle was found, or Eva or what have you, in relation to the town, Eva. Or it could be that they are somewhere northeast. We have 15 to 35 kilometers, so pretty close. This could also be the radius of how much the perp traveled, but very tight radius. Northeast and then southeast. Maybe the cell phone records will show a trajectory of someone traveling northeast, then southeast, or, southeast. I'm directionally challenged. We have here helper. There is someone involved that has led to their demise with this death card. Hopefully that's not the case. We pray it's not the case. Sometimes it could be that maybe someone felt like, they were helping someone in this, they feel like they're dying inside, surrounding the situation where they were helping someone. But I think that this is speaking to someone causing their death. And it was in close proximity to probably maybe where the vehicle was or where they were supposed to meet up. Crossing borders. We do know that they were crossing borders from Kansas into Oklahoma. I don't know if this means that there was some other kind of border crossing, or that somebody could potentially try to cross borders, like we're talking country borders. But I think this might just simply be that we're talking very close proximity, maybe to the border or just past the border. I don't know, in terms of the two states, Oklahoma and Kansas, for example. The reason why I say that I feel like somebody involved in this whole mess could be a potential flight risk is because out of all of these cards, look at all these cards, we have crossing borders and overseas, local, or global travel. Now, it could just mean that this doesn't mean that somebody's actually tried to flee or will flee, but they have it in them. We'll say that. But if you look carefully here, there's local and global travel. So again, this could just symbolize that they were moved. And we see that here with this kilometers card, 15 to 35 kilometers. We have here seasoned criminal system knowledge. System knowledge stands out to me. Repeat offender. So one of the perps involved, or the main perp, or maybe not even main person, somebody involved is a seasoned criminal. Maybe all of them are. Maybe they're just not caught. Because there's another card in this deck that's known. It says known to police in the system. This is interesting to me. It says seasoned criminal, system knowledge. System knowledge, repeat offender. Okay. Maybe the repeat offender or criminal lives 15 to 35 kilometers northeast of where their vehicle is, for example. Then we have someone who has helped, wittingly or unwittingly, who's unknown to police, not in the system, has a pretty clean record. So someone who has a clean record, so police have to be very careful with how they approach this. July is of significance. It could represent someone's birthday who's involved. It can represent when the next bit of movement, real movement, is happening in the case. Something of significance happening this July, or something of significance happening in the past July, or a July back when. We have here tied up or bound. Tied up or bound. The ladies could have been subdued with the weapons. We saw that in part 1. There was weapons involved. The cards didn't specify what kind of weapons, like knives or guns. We just got weapons. So far that's all we're getting, apparently. But what we need to know is that they were tied up and bound, either, as a way to subdue them and or to keep them all, tied up. And maybe that's ultimately part of their demise. I don't know. Like maybe if they are found, there will be evidence of that, being tied up and bound. We have here church, religion, faith, or spiritual. Now, I do know the ladies were church members. Jillian was a wife of a pastor, it sounds like. Maybe what this is saying, 15 to 35 kilometers of a church that's very close in proximity to where these ladies may be. I mean, this is like, in Oklahoma, I would imagine there could be maybe quite a few churches or spiritual centers around, but it's a really remote area. So I am going to poke around and see what I can find in terms of 15 to 35 kilometers, a landmark like a church or religious or faith center that could be either northeast or southeast, depending. I'd have to look at the maps, I'm not sure. But this is of significance, or maybe clues, church records, or someone who's religious has some insights. You know how like you do confessions, or you go to your trusted clergyman, and maybe the clergyman has some information. Could be something like that. We have here female victim, so spirit again is pointing to there is like a very much someone who is a female who's a victim. Could be one or both ladies. Really, it's both ladies because they're not here. They're missing, right? But it could be someone who's truly a victim of this circumstance. No culpability, really just what do they call it? Collateral damage? I don't know. Motorbike. Maybe someone on a motorbike? Motorcycle? Someone who's a motorcyclist? Someone who rides bikes, who has a lot of motorcycles collection or known to ride bikes, or maybe a bike is somehow involved in all of this. A bike and a vehicle, because we have it says taxi and public transport, but sometimes what I'm looking at is that there is a vehicle involved, a motor vehicle. We have the Southeast card. I'll have to explore the maps. Law enforcement and police intervention. Now, this could mean a couple of things to me. It could mean that law enforcement is close or will crack the case, will intervene, as the police intervention card indicates. Could this mean that they were showing their hand as in, like someone, they don't want to show their hand, I should say. And in part one, I mentioned about how the women could have encountered who is responsible for this, or who had a hand in their disappearance. And I just felt like it could be someone, could be impersonating law enforcement. I don't know. Could be something like that. Or maybe, I say allegedly, like some law enforcement maybe close to some of the locals. Close to some of the people, I should say, who may be involved. God, I hope not. But I'm just exploring what different ways that this card could go. Okay. I mentioned in part one about a swoop and squat, where I just see like the ladies being blocked by someone who could have portrayed themselves as police. I don't know. 1,000 kilometers. This is why, again, I'm saying that there's somebody who has thought even about fleeing the country, crossing borders, maybe going to Mexico. I don't know, going out of the country, thought about it, wanting to do something drastic to get away with something, to protect someone, to get away from something. We have here outback rural deserted. Perhaps this could be like, I mean, literally, when you see the picture, and I think I show the picture of the area. I just did like a Google screenshot of the area. It's not the actual area, I know, but just the town, like the road, the main road is so desolate. It's so isolated. It's so deserted looking. It looks kind of, it's giving this feel here. So it could be, you know, they could feel like they're miles and kilometers away, like 1,000, but really they're not. They're pretty close. They're pretty close. But this could also be false accusations of the women going crossing borders, doing something, you know, like leaving. I don't think they would. That's not at all what I'm picking up on. But again, I'm just exploring the ways that this card could come about and what it could mean. All right, and then finally we have smoker. So smoking what? I don't know. Maybe pot, maybe cigarettes, maybe a heavy smoker. Maybe they leave a cigarette butt at the scene with some DNA. Maybe somebody who's like closely involved is a smoker. I don't know. But these are the clues the Spirit decided to impart on us at this moment. I'm going to pause here. We're going to pull a few more cards before we wrap up the Detailed Energetic Oracle Reading, Part 2. I'll be right back. All right, so now we're using Trace Evidence Telling cards regarding the disappearance of Veronica, Butler, and Jillian, Kelley, Kansas, Oklahoma, We're just looking for some additional clues or just some things to consider about this situation. I don't know if there's any mountains. It looks pretty flat. Mental health. Allegations of mental health. Paperwork. Crime scene. Out of town. Okay. Let's just go through these. Missing. This karmic partner that could be connected to the perp had the ability to make these ladies go missing. These friends, I believe that they're acquaintances more so than friends, Veronica and Jillian. But this also can be that friends are in the know about these missing women or clues about where they may be, or about a partner to a perp that's involved. Has information, insights about them missing, key evidence, friends. We had the friends and associates earlier that came up, that card. So this is just like reiterating. Police are probably, like law enforcement, FBI is assisting. I think OSBI is still the lead investigation body that's investigating the case. And maybe they're, conducting interviews, tapping into the karmic partner. This also could tell us too, again, this is not, based on what I'm picking up on here in this reading, is that this is not like a stranger. This is someone she was, has karmic ties to. Karmic ties doesn't always necessarily translate to a romantic partner. It can be a friendship, a romance, it doesn't necessarily mean just romance. It could be partnerships. It could be family, children, karmic partner, right? We have black magic. There's a level of darkness with this case that I can't quite put my finger on. Doesn't necessarily mean someone's partaking in black magic. I suppose this could be literally speaking to that. But I think more so there's this dark element, really dark. And I think we're only scratching the surface of how dark it was preceding their disappearance, but also what's to come. Really dark energy. So be prepared for that, and be prepared to, with this case, to sometimes step back, because it could get very heavy and dark and poisonous of the spirit with this poison card. This also could be allegations of somebody being poisoned, or a toxic situation, or the police poisoning the well of the investigation or the situation. Look how this officer is kind of standing over this one. And how I just get a sense like someone, I don't know, I don't want to make any wild accusations, but something's going on with the police. We saw that earlier with the law enforcement card. I'm not, making a huge stretch like, oh, they are in cahoots or protecting, but something's odd. And it could just simply be that their practices of investigation, maybe they're not used to investigating like something like this. So because of that, they could be tainting the investigation, not willingly or not wittingly so, but there's that, since these two cards are sitting next to each other. But it could just be that they perceive and find out how toxic a situation is. Mountains of paperwork. This card, you can't see it here, but it says paperwork here. And mountain. So when I saw this, I instantly thought mountains of paperwork. Lots of paperwork. It also could be near some mound or hill, some kind of evidence, maybe of the weapons or maybe them themselves. When you look at the aerial view and then just the street view, it's very, to me, it looks very flat. But maybe this is being metaphorical, saying that there's a mountain of paperwork that the police have to navigate and get through, particularly surrounding someone's daughter. Someone's daughter. Now, this could be the female presence, like that a woman is leading the charge, the woman who is the mastermind, or it could be that these representing the feminine energies of the women who are missing. But I also think it could speak to maybe one of the children, the daughter. There's something surrounding the daughter. Seeing something, witnessing something, experiencing something, affecting mental health, pertaining to a female, a daughter. Now again, it could represent any of the women closest to the situation, but it does say daughter, so there's that. Mental health being at issue before, during, and after the disappearance. And the police finding this out from friends about a daughter. Crime scene. There is a crime scene. And maybe this is just signaling that law enforcement will come upon a crime scene or has come upon one just outside of town. We have out of town. Now, I know Veronica and Jillian are out of towners from Kansas. It could mean just simply that, but it could also mean just outside of town. 15 to, so kilometers, we'll just say. Outside of town. Out of town, it says. Something about this case has an out-of-town element. Maybe people descending, people who want to sleuth and crack the case. Maybe out-of-towners. Maybe it's speaking to that. Maybe speaking to that. Earlier in the reading, we got the July card, so we know July is of significant. Spirit, is there anything else time-wise that you want to let us know? We have here, it will take a while. Anything about this case proceeding. We have the new moon. We have Monday. Monday is interesting. What was on Monday? Was there a court case on Monday? February is of significance. Friday. Maybe something was being orchestrated on a Friday, because it was Saturday morning that the ladies headed off to go get the kids, I believe. So maybe this plan was like really set into motion. We have wee hours. Midday. Maybe by midday they, God forbid, lost their lives. Summer is of significance. That could tie in with that July card we got earlier. Okay. Oh, Lord. 2 to 3 years could be the duration of how long this goes. You know how, even if you find someone, arrest the person, it could be at least 2 to 3 years out before it goes to trial, for example. Or it could be 2 to 3 years before they are found, or 2 to 3 years preceding this whole disappearance. There's clues about that. Like if you watch part 1, there was something, a card, one of the white cards, the mystery, murder mystery cards. That was like, you got to look at the events preceding this disappearance. And then a lifetime. God, I hope this doesn't take a lifetime to solve. I don't think it will. This could be more about the karmic connection. A lifetime. Someone was supposed to be destined to be, a parent, a mother, a father for a lifetime, right? Okay. Any other timing? You will have to wait a little longer. Now is not the right timing. This could be like law enforcement. Now is not the right timing to strike. They're still gathering key evidence, trying to understand the full scope of, like, how far and deep does this go? is there a level of corruption that's involved, and having to root that out, you know? Scoot this over so you can see. So we have June. So summertime, June, July, summer is of significance. Now it could be next summer, June and July. It could be this summer. It could be the past summer that is of importance. Take steps to speed it up. I don't think there's anything we can do to speed it up. But I think eventually people close, family members, loved ones, community members, friends of those who are missing are going to start getting restless and going to probably start trying to take matters into their own hands to speed it up. You may start to hear more stories about people in the greater community or loved ones trying to take steps to speed it up. But it's like Spirit's like, y'all are going to have to wait. This is not going to be something that's solved immediately, even though police too have their hunches on how this all transpired. It's a matter of collecting and building the case and the evidence to support that case. So that's where we're at. I do plan on doing a part 3, a detailed tarot and oracle reading. And I have like 6 quick questions I want to ask. But if you all think of any questions to pose for the tarot reading, you know, that's where I timestamp it with questions. And then I throw cards to each of the questions. List it in the comment section down below. What do you think happened? Do you think that this is tied to the custody situation with Veronica? Do you think this is something tied to Jillian? Do you think that we're like on the wrong track? What do you think the cards in my readings have been really whispering and saying? I have my ideas. I do think it's something to do with the custody thing. I mean, that's no big surprise, but there was help. There is some sort of not coercion, but some level of corruption going on. There's also a sense of somebody wanting to protect someone, particularly a daughter. I don't know. So that's what I got. And it's going to take a while. We have February, June, July is of key months, and it's going to take a while. So on your way out, do me a favor, friends. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And let me know your thoughts, your intuitive hits and hunches, questions for part 3. The reading, and we'll go from there. Praying for these ladies, praying for their kids, oh my God, their families, and all those whose lives are touched by these ladies. Let's pray for them and pray for their strength, because this is terrible. Terrible. It literally, like I said in part 1, is like an American horror story for those of us who have gone through custodial issues. Raise your hand if you've gone through a custodial issue. Okay. All right, friends. Take very good care of yourselves. Much love. Many blessings to each and every one of you. Bye for now.